How the High Street has changed in the 40 years up to 2022. In 1982, I was very concerned about the number of old buildings disappearing in the town, so I photographed Orpington High Street to create a record. I've gone back at regular intervals ever since to photograph and in 2022 video. So what has changed between 1982 and 2022? Do you remember Woolworths, Anglia Building Society, Bejams? In this video, we'll look at the area between the old Woolworths building, currently empty, and the Harvest Moon public house, also just closed. Make sure you stay to the end to see everything that has changed and also what has not. Some is very surprising. Please subscribe to get updates as I release them. Brought to you by Eclectic Experience, change seen through images. In this section, most of the actual buildings remain the same over the last 40 years, but the shops have, as with the rest of the high street, nearly all changed. Woolworths was in most high streets right up until it ceased trading in 2009. Woolworths had quite distinctive shop fronts, and the one in Orpington was no different. In 1982, the sign still used the full name, F.W. Woolworth & Co Limited. There is the distinctive tiling on the upper floors, pillars at the front, and branding on the windows. By 1992, the name on the sign was reduced to just Woolworths, and the columns have become square pillars. By 2007, the Woolworths sign is a lot bolder, and the shop front has been reconfigured with new glazing. In 2012, it is Pound World that occupies the site. In 2017, Bargain Buys, and by 2022, it is empty, awaiting redevelopment, having changed again to Pound World Plus. Moving along, looking at the next parade in 2022, then back to 1982. In 1982, the buildings were the same, but everything else was different. The end unit was a clothes shop called Richard Shops, then a shoe shop called Freeman, Hardy and Willis, Anglia Building Society, and further down, a butcher's. It's all changed in 1992. Harvey's has arrived, the shoe shop has gone, Anglia has changed its name to Nationwide, and the butcher's is now Boots Optician. In 1997, more changes to the end unit, but Quicksilver has arrived and is still here today. In 2002, the end unit is now Methven's Booksellers. By 2007, it had become Dreams Bed Superstore. In that year, we also see Costa arrive. In 2012, the big unit is now The Bed People, and Boots Opticians has left this section and moved to a different site on the High Street. Then in 2017, Pato Lounge has arrived and is still here today. This is a comparison between 2022 and 1982. Apart from the buildings, everything else has changed. Looking in more detail at the Anglia Building Society site, in 1982 there wasn't a cash point. By 1992, Nationwide had taken over the site and the society and changed the shop front, as well as adding a cash point and obviously changing the name. By 2002, there was new signage. The shop front had a refurbishment, though was still fundamentally the same. By 2007, another complete revamp of the shop front and signage had occurred, and this stayed unchanged for a long time, until the most recent update by 2022. This is the other end of this section in 2022, then back to 1982. The buildings are the same, but the businesses are totally different. This end of the block is interesting. In 1982, the building is occupied by Currys, but then in 1992 it is Dixon's, it's still Dixon's in 97, still Dixon's in 2002, but by 2007 it's back to Currys, though the business then moves to the out of town retail site on Cray Avenue. For completeness, it's Benson's Beds in 2012, and by 2017 it is HSL, who still occupy the site in 2022. Most banks on the High Street are here for the full 40 years of the survey, but one that is not is TSB, or Trustee Savings Bank as it was known for many years. It was there in 1982, 1992 and 1997 and was then taken over by Lloyds Bank and became Lloyds TSB as seen here in 2002. But by 2007 the unit has been occupied by Betfred, which is still here today. Otherwise there is steady change in this part of the High Street. Robert Dyers takes over Rogers by 1992 and is still here today. And another unit, KFC, appeared by 1997 and again is still here in 2022. Moving to the other side of the High Street. This side has seen some building changes in the last 40 years and amazingly they are all next to each other, though in different time periods. This is a view of the High Street in 2022 and now we'll move back to 1982. Lloyds Bank is the only survivor with the same name over the 40 years of this survey, and we'll come back to it later. Next to it is Timothy White's, a long gone name, and then the gas showrooms, and then chalets. Two of these three buildings were demolished and replaced with new builds, whilst the gas building was also extended. Going further down we see Bejams, a shop that became Iceland by 1992 and is still there in 2022. Mr K, that I think was a men's clothes shop, with QS next door that was there for much of this survey. Then Dixon's before it moved into the Currys site on the other side of the road. Also notice the two old phone boxes, which were replaced by more modern ones by 1992. Also by 1992, Burton's has arrived in a new building and Timothy White's has been replaced by Winners. By 1997, the Harvest Moon had arrived in between C Mark I and the Alliance and Leicester Building Society. By 1997, the gas showroom had moved out of the building and it had been extended to the side where there had previously been access to the rear. I had to do a double take when looking at these photos, as this is quite a distinctive building with its upstairs angled windows. What we see now looks symmetrical and like it was originally built this way. But if we look back at the 1992 picture, we can clearly see that the building has been amended. Here are the images as seen through the years with its different tenants. The next building along, occupied by Winners in 1992, did not survive until 2022. By 2002, it was the Edinburgh Woolen mill, and it stayed the same until after 2017. The building was demolished and by 2022 was replaced by a mixed retail and residential block. It's worth noting that this new block has a far denser occupation. It has 4 stories and a large number of flats, as can be seen by the number of post boxes. Lloyds Bank has been here throughout the entire survey. It is a very distinctive 1970s style branch with a prominent staircase seen through the window. Back in 1982, the signage was very different, and note the mouldings and the use of curtains. By 1992, there is no change, but in 1997, new signage, one moulding has gone, and there's an extra cash machine. By 2002, a name change to Lloyds TSB, and also the last sighting of the horse moulding before it goes by 2007. In 2012, yet more new signage, still called Lloyds TSB. Also note the Olympics logo from the 2012 London Olympic Game. Then, by 2017, pretty much the same as 2022, but note, back to one cash point, reflecting the reduction in the use of cash in society. The Harvest Moon pub first appeared in this survey in 1997 and changed very little. When this picture was taken in May 2022, it was still open, but it closed during the summer of 2022. There has been so much change in shops in this section of the High Street, but also a couple of new buildings. If you've enjoyed this video, There is a playlist at the end which lists all my other Orpington High Street videos. I'll be working my way through the High Street, aiming to make similar videos, so please subscribe to the channel, click the alerts bell and add comments, especially with any additional information. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.